I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-Minute Convos, where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good night, Michael Berg. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful night?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Hey, it's a great pleasure to have you as well, Michael. Please do tell us, what part of the world are you in right now?
I live in San Diego, California.
Yeah, where the beaches live, right? So
Yep.
tell me, what have you been doing, or what talent have you been operating in that's responsible for us to connect up to this point in time?
Well, I've spent most of my career in medical sales and started a medical marketing company about 3.5 years ago. And from that, started a podcast that's really based on our specific niche sector. And that podcast has led to a lot of good things for me. And so I've been going strong for 2 years, and I think that's how we connected.
Yeah. Hey, amazing stuff on that podcast, my friend. Well, first of all, it's almost 12 minutes, sometimes just a bit over, right? Mm-hmm. The podcast conversation. So we love 12-minute conversations, right? Or just about, right? I'm just playing. But no, most definitely love the content of the podcast. Love the idea of you definitely showing the value in selling via building relationships. Could you unpack that for us, please?
Yeah, well, so I've been working in this specific sector that we call the ancillary sector of the medical industry for about the past 8 years. But it's one of these industries that really is a little disjointed. The way I explain it to people, it's an emerging part of the medical industry. It's similar to the tech sector in the mid to late 90s, where you have the overall trend line is up, but sometimes you have some companies that were around in the 90s that aren't around today. Much like that, that's kind of how our industry goes. And so there really was a niche there for someone to clear a path and discover a way that you could make money in this side of the business. And so there's a whole industry filled with independent contractors who work as independent medical sales reps, and they really didn't have a voice or any sort of guidance as to where to avoid some of these pitfalls. So I, in essence, created a network. Yeah. And share a lot of the best practices of what's working amongst all these people who work independently.
So that brings up another question. Who did you learn that from? The model of supporting support?
Well, I had a variety of experience. I've worked from very big companies like Merck, and cut my teeth in that side of the business. And then I worked for a startup company too, and kind of got a little flavor for that side of the business, and got to see a really diverse way of going about training medical sales professionals and supporting them, and what that level of support means.
Oh, you stopped there. So, it sounded as though you were going on.
Sorry, yeah.
It's cool.
I got a little distracted here.
Oh, yeah, it sounded like that, because it was like, okay, he's going to drop the content, right? Yeah, boom. And yeah, it happens though. Like many times it happens, even in sales, right? Like you're speaking to someone, you're bringing value, you're telling them about something, and then something else catches their attention, and you have to rein them back into the conversation, right? To the value. And you definitely have seen the value in conversations along with what you're doing. Is that accurate?
Yes, for sure. Bringing value is really, at the end of the day, that's the only currency you have as working as a sales professional, but really in anything that you do. You as a podcaster are bringing value. That's why people listen to you. So ultimately, it's about at the end of the day, it's about finding that niche audience, finding a way to tune into them and create value for those people so that they want to keep tuning into you and subscribe to you.
Yeah. So where's the best place for us to connect with what you do? I mean, there's the podcast, the Medical Ancillary Sales Podcast. Where else would you point us to if we resonate with what you speak about?
Well, we have our website is ancillarymedsolutions.com, and that's that's our physician-facing site, and we work with physicians of all types, and then we work obviously with medical sales professionals to provide a platform for them to be able to have success out in the field.
I'm intrigued by the Lab for Lab logo, right? Is that something you created, or is that something connected to you?
Yes,
it is.
Yes. So that's just another division. We have a lot of different avenues that we've gone down, and so we do some of our sales have extended into lab diagnostics and things of that sort. And so there's all sorts of rabbit holes that we've gone down and found some other applications for some of these practices that we preach.
Yeah, which is always fun, right?
Places to employ.
Which is always fun. So the Lab for Lab logo, right? Is that a yin yang sign in the middle there of what looks like a beaker, or is it something else?
Yes. I guess you could say that it is. Yes, I'm not the graphic artist, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's what it is, and that's really about in that business. It's about creating partnerships. It's about reciprocity. It's a give and take thing. So.
Yeah, that's intriguing. Well, tell me one other thing, Michael, you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
Well, for me, it's been my successes come from setting daily habits. So where I really started to turn a corner in my career is keeping everything on a calendar, keeping everything scheduled, worrying about those daily habits, and knowing that those daily habits are what's going to get me to my goal faster.
How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel empowered to know that I'm in control of my own destiny. If you keep at something, you always have success.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
That's great. Now, we had someone on from your podcast, right? Your co-host, right?
Oh, did you?
If I'm not mistaken.
Vivian?
Yeah. Vivian. She was amazing. Like, super amazing. It's amazing.
Way better than me, obviously.
Well, yes. I would put you all on the same level, and you both make a cohesive bond. It was definitely great listening to both of you. One, and then having her. I think it was at last, like the night before, actually.
I haven't even listened to it yet.
No, it's not live. It's not live.
It's
not live. That'll be live like on the 30th of November. Yeah, or before. But yeah, she's amazing.
Yep.
So it was just fun. Yeah. So, and anyway, you'll hear her podcast, right? when it is.
Forward to it. I enjoy listening. That's why people tune in. It's not to hear me.
Yeah. So why would you suggest to someone that's listening that they do what you've done by definitely coming full circle back to supporting support?
Yes. So I would, the results the proof is in the pudding. What these strategies that I employ are not necessarily things that I've come up with. I'm no genius. I'm just connected with a lot of people who are very successful in this industry. And so I borrow best practices from them and try to preach those best practices to people who are still learning in this business, or people who are trying to hone their skills. So bringing value is the cornerstone, as we discussed earlier. That's the cornerstone of any successful sales campaign. And so I'm just doing what the top people are doing and preaching that message.
It's great. Hey, amazing audience. Again, we are live with Michael Berg. You could definitely check him out. He is the co-host, podcaster of Medical Ancillary Sales Podcast. Many things going on there. Great value. I've listened to one episode. Highly endorse it from one episode. All I need is 12 minutes, really. But jokingly, I say. But no, definitely really enjoyed that conversation. Michael, let's switch gears for a moment now and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Michael.
Oh, sounds great.
What is your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest childhood memory is getting my tonsils out.
Ouch.
When I was, yes. I had to spend the night alone in the hospital by myself. So that's a pretty painful memory. Thanks for making me relive that.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
My apologies. How old do you think you were?
I had to be almost 4 years old, I would say, 3.5 or 4.
Oh, why do you think this memory is so clear?
Well, I think it was I just remember being terrified. It was the first time I had ever spent the night away from my family. And it was the first time I remember feeling truly alone.
Interesting. Well, can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
Sure.
One of the amazing things, I love sales, right? I love sales. I love Zig Ziglar and how he teaches an individual to sell. And, it's really scary, right, to begin with, when you are someone that is being sold to, because trust is a big thing, right? And it's intriguing to me how it connects to your earliest childhood memory where you were in fear. Like, the procedure had to be done. It's the thing you needed to do, but the fear that could have been subsided, if you would, with a conversation, right? With an understanding, there were many ways that it could have been done better. And I love the fact that it connects to what you're doing in the medical field now by bringing the value of making it comfortable for people to access a better way. And that, my friend, is fascinating. Yeah. Yeah. If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
Well, I was just thinking about that, and I had to look up 1988 because that's when I was 12 years old, and I just looked up the Billboard, and I saw Guns N' Roses was big back then.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say it probably was Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
Sweet Child of Mine, probably.
Oh, there we go.
Was probably
It's amazing how it connects, right? Like, you're alone in the hospital, sweet child of mine, right?
It's come full circle.
Yeah, it's amazing. All right, Michael, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form, so it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. Michael, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
No.
Are you married?
No.
Do you have children?
Yes.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
How about 3 hours a week?
Yes.
What about screen time? The phone and the computer, is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Yeah, including work, way over.
Michael, after 1,001 conversations in 3 months in 2016, I came up with a workbook. The name of it is called Yours. And while this could sound like a plug for the book, it really connects to the idea of an individual answering questions and then hopefully uncovering their mission, which we name Your Own Unique Real Statement. If you had to share with us, Michael, your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who Michael Berg is, what would you say that is?
I'd say I'm a caring person that really honestly wants to do right and wants to find I love to find avenues to help people become successful. I feel like that's my true calling.
Yeah.
So that's why I started the company I started. That's why I do the podcasts that I do, because I want to help people. I want people to empower people to achieve their goal.
Love it. Michael Berg, hey, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
I've embarrassed myself enough.
No embarrassment here. It was all great. Michael Berg, I thank you so much for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com. And for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.